Man, stop being a clown, man. You guys ain't picking Bud Crawford to beat Canelo Alvarez because that's a smart assessment, because that's a logical assessment. You picking Bud Crawford to beat Canelo Alvarez for all the wrong reasons. You just frustrated with Canelo Alvarez because you want to see Canelo Alvarez fight David Benavidez, and that's the only fight that the majority of the boxing fans want to see Canelo Alvarez in. That's what it is. You're just frustrated at Canelo Alvarez. You're mad at Canelo Alvarez. You know what I'm saying? That's why you think that Bud Crawford, who hasn't fought in a year, and the last time he fought, wet the bed versus Mazurov, who was 10-0, never fought a world champion, never been a world champion, never fought in that type of level before, arguably beat Bud Crawford. I mean, it could go either way. It could have been a draw. Could have gone, yeah, one round to Bud Crawford and one round to Mazurov. Let's be real. Let's be honest. Matter of fact, Bud Crawford looked so bad that Turkey Al Sheikh wouldn't even want Terence Bud Crawford to have an in-between fight or an interim fight leading up to a Canelo Alvarez fight so he won't fumble the bag like what happened with Anthony Joshua and Deontay Wilder and what happened with Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia when Ryan Garcia lost to Rolly Romero. Deontay Wilder lost to Parker. When if he would have won and AJ would have won, they was gonna fight, right? So Turkey Al Sheikh, he didn't want to mess up the bag because, of course, there is no other fight that Turkey Al Sheikh has been more invested and spoken so much about than the Bud Crawford versus Canelo Alvarez. This has nothing to do with not giving Bud Crawford his credit. Bud Crawford is a 4-division world champion, 2-division undisputed, one of the greatest that ever laced him up of this generation. Yes, people have questioned his resume when comparison to other greats. He has a decent resume, but when we compare him to the other greats like Bud Crawford, he's like Floyd Mayweather. Yo, Bud Crawford's like Oscar De La Hoya. Bud Crawford's like Manny Pacquiao. No. Bud Crawford is good, but I'm gonna tell you like this: even a guy like Teofimo Lopez had better wins, more significant wins than Terence Bud Crawford in his career. If you really think about it. Now Usyk became a 2-division undisputed world champion in the span of 12 months. Alexander Usyk, the pound for pound #1. You know what I'm saying? To be a undisputed in the cruiserweight division, everybody they had to go through was undefeated. Then he had to beat the likes of Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury. Yo, nothing easy. And these guys are going to our future Hall of Famers. How many future Hall of Famers does Bud Crawford got in his resume? So, in the end of the day, people are just frustrated with Canelo Alvarez, but they're not picking Bud Crawford to beat Canelo Alvarez because that's a logical assessment. That's clownish. Bud Crawford is still a welterweight trying to move up 3 division up to face Canelo Alvarez. We can't even call him a real 154 pounder because he wet the bed at 154. Let's be real. Let's be honest. Don't disrespect, but let's be real. Let's be honest. He looked like an ordinary fighter, and a pound for pound fighter that he is shouldn't be looking like that. Now, of course, the performance with Canelo Alvarez versus William Skull, I think, has closed the gap with the logical assessment that Canelo Alvarez is going to beat Bud Crawford. It has closed the gap because I still do have Canelo Alvarez whooping Bud Crawford from pillar to post. I dare Bud Crawford to do what you think he's not going to do because y'all want to say that he's not going to do what William Skull did. He's not going to do what Jamel Charlo and retrieve a little more often that we thought that he was going to retrieve, right? People saying that Bud Crawford is not them. Bud Crawford is going to fight. So you're trying to tell me that Bud Crawford is going to go what, toe to toe? Is he going to risk it? He's going to stand in the line of fire? I don't think so. But Canelo Alvarez will break a rib. Canelo Alvarez will uppercut. Canelo Alvarez will counter the shit out of Bud Crawford and probably land them in the hospital. And God forbid, this is the type of fight that if Bud Crawford has the cojones to go toe to toe with the great one, that he might not even enjoy the fruit of his labor. Let's be real. Let's be honest. Look, I'm a Canelo Alvarez fan. I am frustrated with Canelo Alvarez because I want to see Canelo Alvarez versus David Benavidez, and I actually do think that Canelo Alvarez really he could have beaten David Benavidez if he would have fought him even a fight ago. But I think that Canelo Alvarez, the performance that we see is that he knows he's gonna beat these guys. I don't think that I think he has the passion for boxing. I don't think that he has I don't know if he has the killer instinct when he's fighting these guys. I mean, he knows he's going to collect a bunch of money. I think maybe the doubt and the disrespect. A lot of fighters, a lot of fans are saying that Bud Crawford is gonna beat Canelo Alvarez because the way that Canelo Alvarez looked versus William Skull, even though that William Skull was running like a straight up bitch. But at the end of the day, Canelo Alvarez could have done better than cutting the ring off. We even got Teofimo Lopez saying that he's picking Bud Crawford. But at the end of the day, I don't think that Teofimo Lopez should have said that, because Canelo Alvarez been there for Teofimo Lopez in his downfall, and he knows what we're talking about here. Let's be real and let's be honest. When you don't got no horse in the race, I think a lot of people respect Canelo Alvarez and a lot of people respect Terence Crawford. The thing that people want to see is the impossible. Because at the end of the day, when you get the most respect and the most props and your just due is when you exceed the expectations. Not only match the expectation, but when you exceed the expectation, when you do the impossible, see, the fans still want to see the impossible. That's why naturally a fan that got no horse in the race would pick the underdog. You want to see something incredible, so you wishing that Bud Crawford beat Canelo Alvarez. But you know what? It's not going to happen. Even Jermell Charlo, look, if Jermell Charlo would have fought Bud Crawford, it still would have been probably a 50-50 fight. You'll probably still give the nod to Jermell Charlo after the Brian Castano fight. Remember, Jermell Charlo is a power puncher, is a knockout artist in 154. He moved up, and Canelo Alvarez didn't feel his punches. What the hell do you think Bud Crawford's going to do? Stop the wishful thinking. I think we're going on. I think people, I don't know. You asked for a video game. We got the boxing video game, and you guys are still acting like y'all in La La Land on some fantasy stuff. You wish you see Bud Crawford beat Canelo Alvarez, but logical assessment, Bud Crawford's gonna get his ass whooped from pillar to post by the 4-division world champion, super middleweight undisputed King Nello, aka Cartelo, aka Cash Nello, aka Payday, aka get the F out of here, man. If you think Bud Crawford could beat Canelo.